Action. 16 days. 16 days is 16 times 24. You have all of you have phones here. He's just
I was looking at the calendar.
How much? 384 hours before they decide whether we live or die. 384 hours. Kadosh Baruch Hu is going to decide if we are Sifrei Chaim. We're going to be written in the book of life. We're going to be written in the book of death. Which one do you want? You want life. So we saw yesterday in the Shir that there are people who are alive among us who are written in the book of death. Why? Because Rav Dessler defines death as when a person is separated from reality and is living in fantasy. So it's certainly possible to be physically alive, but spiritually dead. To live in a fantasy, that fantasy essentially assigns him the book of death. And we also talked about that since the inner being of a Jew does not change whether you're alive or you're dead, it's only whether the neshama is in a container called your body, or is it outside that container. If it's outside the container or it's inside, it doesn't change your neshama. Your essence remains the same. So before you're comforted by that idea, remember how we started yesterday's shir. Ratzon ha'adam hu mahuto. The will of a man is his essence. Whatever you want is what your pnimius is. If you're pursuing money, honor, power, fountain of youth, there are people who refuse to act their age. Met people like that. They don't recognize that, there's once you hit a certain age, there's certain behaviors that you should probably let go. Certain dress modes that's probably not cool. You want to wear a baseball cap? Fine. Once you're above the age of 25, turn it around. Wear it like a normal person. I know, Raul, you just, you're not hip. Okay, maybe. Maybe. But there are no-nos and yes, depending on age in society, which are supposed to reflect a level of experience and maturity. He didn't get the hint because he's not 25 yet. Turn around, see all the way in the back. That's why I had to up it to 25. I didn't want to put you on the spot. But really, my cutoff is 18. Yes, sir.
But why are we going according to society's standards?
It's just a mashal. It's just an example. It's just an example. But we know that there's certain behaviors that are okay for kids to do. But they're not okay for adults. There's certain things that, if you do as an adult, right? You go to a shul and there's bar mitzvah. What do they do in a bar mitzvah? They throw candy. Now, if you start throwing kids around to grab candy as an adult, that seems to be you crossed the line there, buddy. How? Is that what you do?
Give around kids candy, yeah.
No, you can give candy, but you don't take it from them. You don't jump on the ground to grab the candy.
What age is that? What age is that cutoff?
What's the cutoff?
What age is that cutoff?
Depends on your shul. There's certain behaviors, there's certain thinking, there's certain outlooks that Baruch Hashem, I've been at Ohr Somayach for 12 years. I meet with a lot of students, and a lot of them are around your ages. And I see how y'all think. Some of it is inexperience, which is excusable, and it's okay. Some of it is immature, and that depends. And some of it is simply living in a fantasy world, where that's where we try to help you understand that there is such a thing as called reality. And we are living in a reality where the Kadosh Baruch Hu puts the neshama in a guf. The guf comes down here. And once it comes down here, there's different ways of explaining what we're supposed to be doing. Whether we go according to the Kabbalistic or the Hasidic, I don't want to get into it. That's not the topic of the shiur today. But there are different ways of explaining. But ultimately, the purpose of you coming down here is to become better. When you were born, although your mother thought you were perfect, your father always told you you weren't. Right? That's pretty much it. If you ever played ball with your father, right? Or whatever your father's teaching you, your mother's always happy with, oh my God, you did so great. And your father's like, no, go long, go farther. That is, he wants to challenge you. There is this, and you need both. If you don't have both, you become imbalanced, and if you get too much chesed, then you're spoiled. There's too much mold in my room. It's biting. Musser is biting. But there could be the other side, which is what? The person feels like this small, he has no self-esteem because he was always put down, always told he wasn't good enough. That's also a problem. So best parenting is just the right amount of chesed and just the right amount of din so that you would have a normal, balanced person. Okay? Easier said than done, I get it. Because ultimately, and maybe you can appreciate this, maybe not now, really the whole idea of parenting is doing everything your parents did differently so your kids come out like you. That's essentially what people, I'm never going to do what you did. But what is the whole point? What do you want? I want somebody to come out like me. It's like, well, then maybe you should just do what I did. Waggle. Okay. So now, if you are already living in a life of truth, of what? Of spiritual perfection, the Ramchal explains that you need to take from this world. We cannot live without food and water and a comfortable place to sleep. Now, there's levels of comfort, right? But there's some basic physical needs we all have. That's why, we don't allow shower buddies. Sorry. I know, no. I know in J101 you guys have that. We're all Baal Tshuvas, man.
Yeah, but we're still finding the derech.
Listen, if you think, now I'm not kidding, forget the camera, forget anything. But if you think that I found the derech, and I don't have any challenges, and I don't have any difficulties, and I have no doubts, and everything is tranquilo, right? It's all goes smooth, you are dead wrong.
I'm crazy.
No, not crazy. No. The relationship with Hashem is a challenge. There are some people's relationship with Hashem when things are going good, it's very powerful. When things are going bad, it's not so good. There are people who only turn to Hashem when things are really bad. But when things are good, they're like, yeah, I got this. Right? It's like a guy who's driving. He's got a business meeting at 3 o'clock. It's like 2:50, and he's driving around looking for parking. And he knows, like, if he doesn't find parking in the next minute, he's going to be late. He's going to lose a lot of money. And so he says, Hashem, please hook me up. Give me parking. And as soon as he says it, there's a woman pulls it and goes, hey, I got it. It's okay. So there are people who the only way they do connect to Hashem is when Hashem claps them. So, Be'ezer Hashem, I give a bracha to each and every one of you that we should all be zocheh to be Baalei Tshuva all our lives. It has nothing to do with J101 or Mechina or anything. We want to live as Baalei Tshuva. If we have time, maybe I'll explain to you Al-Pi Breslev, Rabbi Nachman of Breslev, his Shita in Tshuva, which is a very powerful, I connected to it very much a few years ago, and it stuck with me. So maybe if we have time a little bit later, you'll remind me, Noah, and I'll... Okay. So if you decide to live a life of ruchnias, of spirituality, that doesn't mean you ignore physicality. You still need food. You still need the basics. I get it, yes. But if your goal is spirituality and you are growth-oriented, on the ascent, then you are already living in the level of your Olam Haba. There are people who lived in this world, all they pursue is physicality. They go from this physical desire to that one. From one meal to another. All they think about is food. You put food in front of them, don't pay attention to anything. There are people who are like that with the opposite sex. Very, very motivated by that desire. And hence, if they don't come out of that, when they get to Olam Haba, that's what they're going to pursue. They're going to be like, where are the 72 virgins that people are talking about? They take them to some room with a chess club. Bunch of guys with pocket protectors playing chess. Hey, another one! That's not what said if you laugh, we have to charge you. Smusser is not funny. Is that okay? Oh Hashem. Says Rav Dessler, if you are happy with what Hashem gives you, then you have reached the goal of your existence here. It's not about how big your house is, how new your car is, how much money you have in the bank. A person once, a very wealthy person, went to visit the Chofetz Chaim. And he said, Baruch Hashem, I'm so diversified, nothing can make me poor. Chofetz Chaim says, really? What if, the banks, it's like, I've got real estate, I've got money offshore accounts. What if your factory's big? He goes, even that, I don't worry because I have this, I have that. Everything, whatever it is, I got so diversified, I'm good. So the Chofetz Chaim says, yeah, but there's one thing Hashem can do. He can take you away from your money. He might not be able to take your money from you, but he can take you from your money. And so, if you live with this idea, then you fall into what the Gemara says. Whoever looks at what isn't his and seeks whatever he seeks, they don't give it to him. And whatever they already gave it to him, they take from him. As if you live your life always looking at what other people have, and that's what you want, not only are you not going to get what you want, but what you want, what you already have, will be taken away from you. Well, that's punitive. Why is he doing this to me? There is a basic, deep idea that Rav Dessler mentions, not here, somewhere else, that I think everyone has to be aware of. Everything that we get, everything that from Shamayim God gives us, was given for a specific reason to use to serve Him. Whatever Hashem gives you or gave you, the expectation is that you use that which was given to you to serve Hashem. So let's start with simple things. A person has money. Is that money for him to use whatever he wants? For sure, the Torah says, listen, everything that you have to live according to halacha. So there are boundaries of what you could do with your money, what you shouldn't do with your money. Right? That's clear. But the money that you do have, you have to add, it's a tool to serve Hashem. Hashem gives you eyesight. For what? To watch those movies that you guys are watching on TV? On your computers, on your phones? No. It's to use to learn Torah. He gives you the ability to speak. Does that mean you should use it for your taiva of lashon hara and lying and all this and all? No. We use our speech to serve Hashem. How? Through prayer. Through teaching Torah. Through learning Torah. He gave us ears. For what? To listen. Listen to what? Music while we shower.
Music will I eat.
What?
Music will I eat.
Okay. But what if the music has an effect on you that is not so healthy? Not all music is probably good. There's some music that has ideas and lyrics that really we shouldn't be thinking about. I'm not talking about doing issers, like listening to a woman sing. I'm not getting into that. Our body was given to us to serve Hashem. You should know the neshama cannot perform a single mitzvah. It needs the body. So the neshama wants to learn Torah, it needs the body. If the neshama wants to pray to Hashem, it needs the body. And as we talked about, the whole avodah of Elul is to tell the body there's a boss. Usually the body thinks he's in charge. We go to bed. But I want to get up to Minyan. We're not getting up to Minyan. Minyan, we don't get up before 10 a.m. Why? That's it. I'm in charge. We eat when I want to eat. We go to sleep when I want to go to sleep. Right? Sometimes you get to bed and you say, okay, it's time to go to bed. Your body says, nope, we're not going to bed yet. We're going to go hang out with the South Africans. One of them is like, leave me out of it. I don't do that. I didn't say who, but the body is not your boss. The neshama is the boss. Live like the neshama is running your life. Clear? So everything that Hashem is giving us is a tool. Hashem gave you a tremendous blessing. He gave you the schus to be at Ohr Somayach. All yeshivot are good. All of them are good. They're all very good. They all teach Torah. All of them. You are here. Use this tool to grow. Use this tool to become closer to Hashem. Now, the flip side. Here comes the good news. Noam, listen to the good news. Any tool that Hashem gave you, if you don't use it to serve Him, He takes it away from you. That's how it works. He gives you something, you don't use it to serve Him, you don't need it. Come on, Shabbat Shalom. But, the whole point. Yes, sir.
How do you know when you're using these things to become closer to Hashem or to connect with Hashem for Hashem? We were talking yesterday that, I think Shai asked you, when can I desire a big house? When I want to host for many people, when I want to, and so in that case, you could make the argument that you're using your big house to honor Hashem, but based on what you were saying yesterday, that you can't even desire that.
Well, something quite, I'm not talking about can't. The question was should. Should a person desire wealth?
No.
A lot of money? Thank you, Afi. That's the question that you're ultimately asking. Can somebody say, look, Rabbi, I'm not going to sit and learn all my life. That's not me. That's not me. I like to look at, stuff, sell, buy, whatever it is. Can I help over there? Who's sitting over there, by the way, that's violating the rules?
Talking about wealth.
Wait 1 second. No, the rules are you have to sit where I could see you.
He's embarrassed. He doesn't have shoes. He has flip-flops.
It's okay, trust me. If that's the rule, half of this class is flip-flopped. No. Otherwise, I have to turn the camera around and walk over there. Yes, so what? What do you want to say? You don't want to hear my answer.
Well, I was just trying to buy something in a store. They denied every single one of my credit cards.
Baruch
I
Hashem.
went over to the ATM.
Shh.
I have a lot of money. Don't have a lot of money to make, but I have money in the bank, and every single one of the cards that I tried did not let me take out money.
Baruch Hashem.
Comes with a
Yeah, for sure. What's your Havamina that it wasn't?
My Havamina is that you were talking about wealth, and I was like, I don't think I have any more money left. Somebody either empty my bank accounts or I don't know, fraud. Something else.
Back to Nick's question. We'll pretend. Now, Shia came to me and said, look, there's a bit of an issue. People who are watching the video can't hear the questions of people. Wait. So put this one, they can hear it. But I said, I don't want them to hear it because they probably don't want to hear it. Hence, your little story. You're not going on the shidduch moment where we put one guy's face for shidduchim purposes only. So Nick, like this. Wealth is a tool. The Ramchal in Mesilat Yesharim says that wealth is a much harder nisayon, a test, than poverty. Because when you have wealth, Hashem gave you that not to use it for your own pleasure. And yet, you are. Having a nice house, trust me, He's not going to be living on a cot from Ohr Somayach in some, closet in this beautiful house, and the rest of the house is for Mechina students who don't have anywhere to eat on Shabbos. That's not going to happen. And he's not eating, dry, stale bread from last Shabbos. He's going to eat, with everybody. If it's already here and I paid for it, why not? So there is an aspect that wealth could create a situation that, as the Torah says, Vayishman Yeshurun Vayivat, that the Jewish people will become fat because of their wealth, their success. Yes, they'll become wealthy and successful, and they will reject Hashem. They'll say, I got this. I made all this money. I don't need you. And then it becomes their downfall. So, if HaKadosh Baruch Hu blesses any of us with wealth, we have to understand we have an isayon. And we have to have the right Gdorim boundaries of how to live with that type of wealth, what to do with it, how to handle it. And it's not pashut. However, I don't know any person, there probably are, that would prefer to be poor than to have a little bit of cash or a serious amount of cash. It's true.
If you see somebody with many of these blessings, one of maybe big house or know that they have a lot of money, and for some reason that you believe that they're not using it to serve Hashem, based on this, should you reevaluate your thought and know that they are serving Hashem and that's why they have these things?
No. It could be that they failed the test.
But it hasn't been taken away.
No, and it probably won't.
Oh.
It will be giving to them so that it will, not to give them Olam Haba. So it's not, you can't, what is difficult is looking at a certain person's situation and then decide, tzaddik, Russia. That we don't do. We don't box people in, say, Shmuel's walking around distracting me, he's a Russian. No. Tov, can I keep going? Or I don't want to do a Q&A today. I don't want to stop the video and do Q&A. If you want to do a Q&A, we could do it tomorrow. I'm not here. Okay. שלושה ספרים נפתחים בראש השנה. 3 books are open on Rosh Hashanah. A book for tzaddikim, a book for rashaim, and a book that's called Beinonim. What's Beinoni?
The middle.
Middle! You're not a tzaddik and you're not a rasha. Those of you who learn Tanya already know that none of us would fit in the Beinoni at all. But we're not going in the Mahalach of the Baal Tanya. We're going in the Mahalach of Rav Dessler. Rav Dessler says, what's a Beinoni? Somebody who is inconsistent in his choices. Once he's a tzaddik, wakes up in the morning, davens, right? But when it now is first year, Russia. I'm going to go take a shower. But then there's, now Gemara, 10 o'clock. I'll go to Gemara. I enjoy it. It's great. Tzaddik. Chazara? Nah, I don't want to. 3 o'clock? I got to put up with him. Russia. That's, I think, for the most part, that's where most people are. Vacillating between tzaddik and Russia. They do 5 tzaddiks, 1 Russia. Then, Thursday night they go out to Ben Yehuda, Russia, tzaddik. Oh, you hit a pole. Okay, never mind. There's a whole world over there that I don't know.
There's a whole world over there.
Unbelievable.
He's being immense right now. He's doing good.
Listen, I'm sure that he's being arranged. There was no.
Aaron's here to give this.
You get. Take this chair and give it to Aaron. You can't, no, you have to remember that we don't do chesed on cheshbon of somebody else. Right? You don't take a chair from him to give it to him. Okay, you did a chesed to him, but you took it from him.
What if it's a Cohen?
What?
What if it's a Cohen?
What if?
What if he took the chair from the father?
No, what if he gave the chair? He gave the chair to a Cohen?
Cohen, who's in our program?
No, it's
No?
you got it down to this
Ah.
one.
What should be the penalty of somebody falling asleep in Musar? Everybody's looking like, who? Who did he catch?
Insomnia.
Yes. They have to read my book. Of course I have a book. I'm not as dumb as I look. Can you read it for $112? Yes.
What's your book cost?
That's what they sell it on Amazon. $112. Why are you laughing?
Borrow it from you?
Can you borrow it from me? For $112?
What's it on?
What's it on? Look it up.
Shackles, that would have been more
What's it called?
digestible.
What?
What's it called?
Just look on Amazon Books, put my name, and you'll see. It'll come right up. I only wrote one book that's on Amazon.
Does that mean you wrote more books that aren't on Amazon?
I wrote, yeah. I didn't publish it. I decided not to publish it. One of them.
Why not?
Good question. Partly because I wanted to do a better job, more complete and thorough, and I said I'll get around to it, and I didn't. And then, so
Will you tell us sheet Rabbi Nachman on Tshuva?
now, yeah, yes. So Rabbi Nachman of Breslev explains that how does tshuva work? So let's say a person sinned. Okay, I don't want you to give me an example of your own personal sin. We're not doing that. I don't take confessions. It's a wrong religion. Although people do come to my office and confess. Specific type of sins. Okay? That I don't really want to know. I really don't. Okay? But on the tzad, give me an example of a sin. Not eating kosher. Good. Baruch Hashem. Good. So somebody ate a non-kosher what? A hamburger. Like a hamburger. Ham. Well, no, it's no issue. If you're eating pig, there's no basar b'chalav on pig. Oh. I thought I was double, but no, it's one whammy. Hashem, look, it wasn't that bad. Okay, so chas v'shalom, a person ate non-kosher, right? Ordered a bowl of calamari, went to town. Tastes like rubber bands, as somebody told me. Okay, fine. So now he regrets it. He says, I really shouldn't have done that. And he says, Hashem, I regret it. I'm sorry. I won't do it again. Check. He did tshuva. He articulated what was wrong. He expressed his regret. He is committed not to do it again. Tshuva. Says Rabbi Nachman of Breslev, says that once a person does that, that process of tshuva elevates him to a higher spiritual level. So then he looks at the process of tshuva that he did, and he says, that's insufficient tshuva. Why? Because now his higher level of spirituality, he recognizes that the sin was bigger than he thought. And really the regret that he had was insufficient to what he caused. And so now he does tshuva again. And that process elevates him even higher. When once in that third level, or second level, spiritual level, he recognizes that the second tshuva that he did was still not sufficient. There was more to squeeze out of himself. And he says, Hashem, I didn't realize how much I hurt you. Because his first 2 times he focused on himself. Because eating non-kosher affects you. But now he says, Hashem, I understand what I did to you. And I'm sorry. And he cries and he does tshuva again. And what happens? He gets an elevated spiritual level again. Which then he realizes that the fourth, and it is a process. According to Rabbi Nachman, the tshuva is not a linear. It is a spiral that you continue to grow and you constantly live as a Baal tshuva, somebody that is doing tshuva, even on the same sins that you already took care of, because the higher you are getting spiritually, you realize that your level of tshuva that you did 3 months ago was not good enough. Because once you understand the godless, what's the good word that I want to mention? The supernal nature of your neshama. You realize how much Hashem has put into you. And for you to eat non-kosher is a slap in the face to Hashem. And therefore it's much worse if it was somebody with a low soul that is like, okay, so all right. But when you understand now that Hashem has created your neshama especially, and it is a piece of Him, as the Soal says, right? Then your tshuva changes completely. And so you live in a constant state of working at and improving and looking backwards and doing tshuva not as a linear, it's going to go from here to here, done. Here to here, done. No. It is this spiral that you're climbing up and getting higher and higher. And the etzem process of doing tshuva is what is lifting you up closer and closer to Hashem. Mincha, gentlemen.